Good evening and welcome back to Be Rich. The global markets are in turmoil. Yesterday I spoke to a fund manager from US, my good friend, and he said things are looking very bad and there is no liquidity. He said government yields have gone from 1 to 3. That is, they have tripled, and therefore there is no liquidity, and B and C grade bonds are getting no takers, and even at whatever price, there is nobody willing to buy them. Why is this happening? This is happening because the Fed is continuously increasing interest rates. It's already done a 50 point, it already has done a 75 point. The news from America is not extremely good. It's expected today that inflation will be at 8.8%. Most people expect that the Fed will increase another 0.75 by the end of this month. This means we will have had a 2% raise, and the Fed fund rates will be between 2.5 to 2.75. In fact, the real estate king of America, Sam Zell, said the same thing. In fact, he wanted them to go the full Monty and increase it by 1%. What are the consequences? The consequences are extremely bad. What is going to happen is money is going to flow away from the emerging markets and developed markets and go into US Treasury. All the money that America printed over the years is going back home, and the Fed is doing something called quantitative tightening. They are reducing their size of the balance sheet at this time by $45 billion, and hopefully by September will start to reduce the balance sheet by $95 billion. This has created a huge crisis. In fact, one expects several bankruptcies to go. But the bankruptcies are not for big companies alone, but one can expect bankruptcies for nations. As I speak to you, Sri Lanka has already become bankrupt. There is no diesel, there is no petrol, and for the last 2 weeks, the people have been standing in queue in front of empty petrol stations and diesel stations. And because there is no petrol or diesel, there is no way people can go to work. Schools, colleges, offices have been shut down, and the entire economic activity has come to a standstill. There is no medicines in shops. There are doctors are asking for emergency medicines. What little of natural cooking gas has come was distributed. Things got so bad, people took law into their own hands, went inside the presidential palace. Today it has become a sightseeing gallery of how the president of Sri Lanka lived, and it was in great luxury. Things got so worse that Goptaya Rajapaksa, the president, fled Sri Lanka today. Yesterday late night, after making two aborted attempts and US denying him a visa, he escaped to Maldives and landed safely in Malé with enough security. But that is not what I wanted to tell you. Sri Lanka is bankrupt and is now with a begging bowl in front of the IMF. They need to have a government before they can negotiate. Similar scenes are playing out in Pakistan, where Imran Khan was ousted and Nawaz Sharif's brother Shabnaz Sharif has taken over, and he is finding it extremely difficult. And Pakistan almost defaulted last week, just at the nick of time. Their good friend, the Chinese, decided to give them a further loan of $2.3 billion, with which they repaid the loans. Pakistan has been avoiding default by pledging parts of their superhighways to raise money in the Sukuk bonds. But bankruptcy is only a few months away. The talks with the IMF have stalled, and IMF is asking for tough conditions before bailing them out. So Pakistan is on the verge of default. Turkey's case is also well known, and I have spoken here. And Eric Din has an unconventional monetary policy of cutting interest rates when inflation is more than 20%. In fact, unofficially, inflation is more than 60%. So I'm only talking of three cases, but there's a list of countries which is circulating and which is appearing next to you, which shows the yields on government bonds. If you buy El Salvador bonds, you can get an interest rate of 31%. Ghana is 17%. Tunisia 32%, Pakistan 16%, Egypt 13%, Kenya 14%, Argentina 21%, Ukraine 61%. In case of Ukraine, it is acceptable. The list goes on. Dominican Republic is a notable thing at 23.9. What all this shows is that all these countries have borrowed recklessly in when times were easy and now are finding it difficult to pay. Let us not be too pleased that India's name is not in this list. India's name is not in this list because Manmohan Singh ensured that we will never borrow in dollars. The sovereign debt is not in dollars but in rupees, and that is why our sovereign rates are not being displayed in this list. In fact, this government, under the current dispensation, wanted to raise $30 billion in global bond markets. Imagine had we decided to borrow $30 billion, what would be the pressure? So, borrowing when times are good and easy, it looks nice, and it looks that we have got loans at very favorable terms which we can use to import goods and services. But as the taper tantrums of 2013 and what the current situation show, when the interest rate cycle turns, bond yields tighten, it makes it very difficult because nobody wants to touch a B or a C grade bond. Most of these countries I read out are either C or below C. India herself is only with a double B. Therefore, it is very important and prudent for economies not to borrow in foreign currency. You should always only borrow in currencies in which you can print. If nobody wants to take the loan, so be it. But if you borrow in the reserve currency, such as US dollars, in times of trouble, you will be asked to pay up. Thank you for watching. Be rich. If you like this content, kindly hit the like button, press the subscribe button, and turn on the bell notification. If you do not turn on the bell notification, you will not be notified every time we put out a video. Once again, I thank you for your support to Be Rich. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.